The last piece of our wardrobe and step to becoming a professional is this watch, which represents my mission statement as a teacher and what I think the purpose of schooling is. I plan on becoming a middle school math or science teacher, and I want my students to enjoy coming to my class and gaining knowledge in these subjects. I believe that the purpose of schooling is to foster students who have a vast knowledge of a variety of subjects and to become well-rounded individuals. I also believe that the purpose of schooling is to help students develop who they are so they can become productive citizens. It's important for students to have a vast knowledge so they can enter into the real world and have an understanding of what's going on around them. This knowledge will provide them with the skills they need to enter the workforce and to be successful. It's important for students to find themselves along the way and to have goals to work towards. They need a strong support system to help them reach their fullest potential, which will help the students become productive citizens later in life. This leads me to my mission statement that I have for teaching. It is my mission to enrich students' education with creative, stimulating, and passionate teaching that will inspire them to learn, to accomplish their dreams, and to push them in their fullest potential by using varying teaching methods that fit their educational needs. I want what is in the best interest of my students, and in order to do that, I must serve as an agent of change. Some possibilities that I could serve as an agent of change would be involving the students, parents more, creating an environment that students would want to come and learn in, and making math less scary for students. Parent involvement is important to me because they can provide insight on their child and the issues that they may be facing at home, which ultimately influences the students' learning. Parent involvement could have a positive impact on their child's outlook on school and learning. By creating an environment that my students would feel comfortable in, I would hope they would look forward to coming to school and learning and not look at school as an obligation or a hardship. A comfortable environment could foster trusting relationships with my student, which may help them in their learning process. Since I am becoming a math teacher, I also want to make math less scary for students. I know from experience that math can be overwhelming, and this causes students to dislike the subject. In order to make math less scary, I will create lessons that portray the relevance of the material we are learning about, and I will create activities that relate to the students' interests. Now that my graduate here has completed her makeover and has a full understanding of what it means to be a professional teacher, she has completed her transition from graduate student to professional. I myself am still in the transitioning process of becoming a professional teacher. I have learned a lot through this course about what it takes to become a professional, and it has furthered me in my transitioning process. I'm not sure when my transitioning process will be complete, but I am well on my way now that I fully grasp what it takes to be a professional and how to dress for success in the professional workplace.
You said that you're going to be a math teacher. How do you plan on making math more enjoyable for your students?
Well, math is always one of those subjects that if you don't love math, then normally you don't like it. And so I want to try to create activities that the students will be able to relate to and use in their everyday life, so it's not just learning equations, that they'll actually know when to use it, because that was one of the big things in high school for me is I was learning all this calculus stuff, and I'm like, when am I ever going to use it?
Right.
So I think if I can make the lessons relate more to their life, then they'll want to learn it more. So.
Yeah. I had that same problem. Once I got to calculus, I was like, I don't want this anymore. You also said you're going to be a science teacher.
Yes.
And you said you want to make your environment better for the students and make them want to come into your classroom.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to do this?
Well, if I'm in a science classroom, I think labs are a great way because they're interactive to get the students more involved. Instead of just having them sit there and me lecture at them and they take notes is really boring. So I think having the fun labs will help them be able to do hands-on activities that will help them learn and have fun at the same time and not just sit there and fall asleep while I lecture. So
Yeah.
hopefully that'll be good.
Is there anything you can put on your walls that'll
Yeah, I think posters are always a fun thing. For Phoebe, I was in the science room for a couple days, and she had posters everywhere of the body and all the bones and stuff. And I think just having fun visual representations of science will help the kids get more interested in, oh, I want to learn about that because it looks cool. So, yeah.
you also said it was important to be involved with the parents of the students. How will you do this without seeming too pushy?
I think getting them parents involved without being too pushy. Well, I think email is a great way to communicate with the parents, but if they don't want to respond right away, they have that freedom, whereas phone calls or parent-teacher conferences is like head-on, like face-to-face interaction. And I also plan on calling the parents or emailing them and letting them know when their students have done something well or good, because parents are so used to getting phone calls when their child's in trouble or doing badly in a class. And I think the mixture of the good and bad phone calls, I mean, hopefully not as many bad ones, but will make the parents like want to be more involved in their children's education if they're doing well in it and that they know that they're succeeding. So hopefully they'll want to help out. So, yeah.
Good.